Nico Jackson is a Bayern Munich player. This is, of course, something we discussed on yesterday's show. A lot of stories about him going to Munich. And then, of course, because of the injury, meaning that he was going to come back to Chelsea. But he's going to Bayern. That's it. Done and dusted. Bayern with an obligation to buy, Jules, yeah?
Yeah, loan fee, obligation to buy at the end of the season, and bonuses on top of that obligation to buy that can get the whole package to 80 million euros,
Wow.
which I never thought I would say that some club could actually have agreed to potentially pay that much money for Nico Jackson, especially Bayern, who really, if you look at it, he's going to be on the bench. There's no way, unless company wants to try Harry Kane and Nico, striker partnership combination with Olise on the right and Luis Diaz on the left. But once Musiala comes back, certainly towards November, December, and even Gnabry will play as a 10, Olise on the right, Kane up front, Diaz on the left, and Nico's position will be on the bench. But hey, it's a loan fee of 15 million euros. Then there's the obligation to buy at 50, and then potentially those bonuses that can put it up to 80. But I think this is a good deal for Chelsea.
Why have they paid this much?
I think Bayern has been desperate for a long time now to get another body in, not particularly a starter, because their front four, especially when Musiala comes back, it's pretty amazing. I mean, what front four is really better than Musiala, Olise, Diaz, and Kane? So they wanted another body, which I can understand in case there's an injury, and they were literally linked. They were linked with so many forwards / wingers / number 9s through the whole summer. Could not get anything through the line. Even we talked about Garnacho earlier. He didn't even want to look at them. Xavi Simons, the same. Even Christopher Nkunku at some point was quite keen and then decided not to go there because he knew he was not going to be a starter. So for Nico, he seemed quite happy to go there. Good for him. For Bayern, it's quite a lot of money for somebody who, for quite a lot of that time, is going to be on the bench because, again, he's not better than anybody in that front four.
If you were sitting on the fence, not that many are, if you were sitting on the fence thinking about how the game has evolved and how the money is now, and you didn't think the game had gone, this is just proof. Nothing against Nico Jackson, but he's going to Bayern Munich on a hefty loan fee with an obligation to buy as Chelsea's third choice striker. I mean, it just, some of the moves that are occurring these days just smacks of agents getting weighed in heavily. People getting paid behind the scenes, money changing hands, and players making moves that you sit and go, really? I mean, is Nico Jackson, Bayern Munich are a juggernaut of European football.
It's not the agent's fault, is it?
No,
Isn't it Bayern Munich's fault for leaving things last minute?
No, but what
that's
I'm
their
saying
job.
is Bayern Munich, and you know, they're talking about how a club's run. Ole Hoeneß and all these, as Jan calls them, muppets upstairs, you know, leaving all this to the last minute. Are we actually saying that this juggernaut of world football, European football, is Nico Jackson was their option?
Yeah.
Is that what Bayern Munich are telling Vincent Kompany?
The odd part is that Bayern sell Matthias Tell earlier this summer. It's 40 million. Now, whether Tell was absolutely adamant that he
and Kingsley Coman as well.
And Kingsley Coman that they wanted to leave, but you sell Tell, who plays the exact same position as Nico Jackson, for 40 million to Spurs or somewhere around, and you bring in Jackson, or initially for a loan, but it could rise to as much as 80. That makes no sense to me at all in any single level.
Hold on. They didn't, I might be wrong here. Thomas Müller did not retire. They did not renew his contract, right?
Absolutely.
I know Thomas Müller is the wrong side of 30. Are we saying that Bayern Munich think they're going to be better off with Nicolas Jackson sat on the bench than Thomas Müller coming on for a cameo now and again? By the way, just paying his wages, which I'm sure was no small sum. But they've let him go to bring in Nico Jackson. Let that sink in.
Right, Chelsea fans, we need to talk about what just happened with Nicolas Jackson. And honestly, after watching this transfer saga unfold over the past few days, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. We've just sold our third choice striker to Bayern Munich for a potential package that could reach 80 million euros. Yes, you heard that right. 80 million euros for Nicolas Jackson. Now, let me walk you through this absolute madness, because this has been one of the most bizarre transfer deadline day stories I've ever covered. Jackson flew to Munich on Saturday, medical completed, everything sorted. Then Liam Delap gets injured against Fulham, and suddenly Chelsea are pulling the plug. They're telling Jackson to get on the next flight back to Stamford Bridge. But here's where it gets interesting. The lad refuses to leave Germany. His agent, Ali Barat, is fighting tooth and nail, saying they're not giving up on this move. And you know what, Blues? If you're watching this and haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button now, because we're bringing you all the latest Chelsea news. And trust me, with the way our transfer business goes, you won't want to miss a single update. We're breaking down every move, every decision, and every bit of drama from the bridge. So what happens next? Bayern come back to the table on deadline day with an improved offer. We're talking about a 16.5 million euro loan fee with an obligation to buy at 65 million euros, or that's a total package of around 80 million when you include all the bonuses. For a player who was our third choice, behind Delap and João Pedro and Enzo Maresca's pecking order. Look, I gotta be honest here. This is brilliant business from Chelsea's perspective. We signed Jackson from Villarreal for £30 million just 2 years ago. Now we're potentially making a £50 million profit on a player who, let's face it, divided opinion amongst the fan base. Yes, he scored 13 goals last season, and yes, he showed flashes of brilliance. But consistency was always the issue, wasn't it? What really gets me about this whole situation is Bayern's desperation. They've let Thomas Müller go. They missed out on Ademola Lookman from Atalanta, and now they're paying premium money for a striker who's going to sit on the bench behind Harry Kane. Vincent Kompany must really rate Jackson to push this hard for him, but honestly, when you've got Kane, Jamal Musiala, Leroy Sané, and Luis Diaz in your attack, where does Jackson fit in? The timing of this deal is what makes it even more remarkable. We're talking about deadline day drama at its finest. Chelsea initially wanted an obligation to buy. Bayern wanted just an option. Then the Delap injury happens. Everything's off. Then suddenly it's back on with improved terms. Mark Goyu's been recalled from his loan at Sunderland to provide cover, and Jackson gets his dream move to the Allianz Arena. From a Chelsea perspective, this is exactly the kind of smart business we need to be doing. We're getting top dollar for a player who wasn't guaranteed regular minutes, and we can reinvest that money into the squad. The fact that we managed to turn Bayern's desperation into such a lucrative deal shows that maybe, just maybe, our negotiating team is finally getting it right. Jackson himself deserves credit for his determination. The lad had his heart set on Bayern and he fought for it. That takes guts, especially when your parent club is telling you to come back. He'll wear the number 11 shirt at Bayern, following in some pretty big footsteps there. But here's my question to you, Chelsea faithful. Are we going to regret this? Because let's not forget, Jackson is only 24. He's got pace, he's got power, and in the right system, he could become a top striker. What if he tears up the Bundesliga? What if he becomes Kane's long-term successor? We've seen it before, with players we've let go too early. Either way, this transfer window has been absolutely mental, and this Jackson deal just sums it all up perfectly. 80 million euros for our third choice striker. You genuinely couldn't make it up.